Yeah. So we have 10 shareholders. Now these 10 shareholders, the available capital, let me say, for example, $2 million. So each shareholder, the capital will be approximately 200,000. So our business should be floating around the 2 million capital, isn't it? But if you expand this to 1,000 shareholders, then we have a quite possibility that we could maximize our capital to maybe $200 million. This 2 million can become 200 million. I'm just giving example only. So we then have a greater access to a better different type of options for us to perform our business. Let's say I need to purchase plastic materials. When I am at this level, I may only have to purchase plastic material locally because my available funds is less and I don't have better infrastructure to operate the business, and I don't have a good team and no better factory premises, nothing. But when I have $200 million capacity, I have a wider reach internationally, and it is even easier for me to purchase. Now we are in Doha. We can purchase things from South America or South Africa or China or Sri Lanka, anywhere in the world with a flip of a second. So because of the the current technology support that as well. So we have better economies of scale when I have larger reach of funds. So that is one of the pointer that we should emphasize, that the one advantage of having public listed companies. Is that clear? And what are the advantages of limited companies? More money available. Nowadays, especially now, money is a big issue everywhere. No? When you have many shareholders, especially the word here, limited company, I would rather add a word public limited company. Private limited company, all these advantages may not that much applicable. So compared to public limited company, private limited company, public limited company have more money. But the limited company compared to sole proprietorship and partnership have more money. It's a comparative measure. You get me? Then, reduce risk of investors. Why is that? If I am a single owner, our total capital requirement is $1 million. I have to bring this $1 million somehow. If something goes wrong, then I am the one who has to burn my fingers. To bear the loss and whatever the consequences are. But if it is a limited liability company, these losses must be absorbed by all the given wide range of the shareholders. Everybody who involved as a shareholder must taste the loss. But to the extent of what? We discussed that. To the extent of unpaid amount of their liability. If anything more, you just simply forget, that's it. Let's say a supplier, you need to pay $500,000. The company can only pool $300,000 from the shareholders. Now this supplier goes to court. And he filed a case. Says that, my lord, X company should pay me $500,000. Then the court, what they will do, they will call for an explanation, and then court will order for a voluntary liquidation. Do you know what the meaning of voluntary liquidation? It's that to close down the business and to sell all whatever the available assets, collect the money, settle this supply. But if you only collect 300,000 only, then supplier need to forget. Masalama, that's it. This is the protection that the shareholder has when you are the limited liability. Now you may have a question, it is unfair for the supplier. So conversely, let's say you are dealing with a sole trader and the same 500,000 you should pay. Totally this business collapsed, bankrupt. Totally he doesn't have anything. You go to court. And this sole trader comes to the courts. My lord, see I am now empty pocket and I am reporting bankruptcy. If a sole trader reporting a bankruptcy, court cannot do anything. Then you need to, as a supplier, you just simply cry and go only. He will say, every week I will come, I will pay 10 reals. Suppose if he say, you have no argument. You just simply accept the 10 real only. This is the scenario between a sole trader and a limited liability company. In limited liability company, whatever the resources available within the what I said, that the way of incorporation, that you know ozone, no? Ozone. Same like that. It's a shield. In that, within that shield, whatever available is available to all different resource providers, shareholders and credit holders. Now suppliers. When you talk about suppliers, there are two types of suppliers: secured suppliers and unsecured suppliers. Who are secured suppliers? Now you go to the next door shop and you purchase 150,000 worth of reals worth of goods on credit, and you say that I will pay next month. You two are neighbors, you are very friend, evening go to tea shop and then have teas, and you are very close and you know each other. He said okay, business going, and the business busted. Now this man has any document from you to, in case if you don't pay, can he sell that and get?
No, you don't have any official document.
He only probably he may have invoice, but with that invoice he can't take any money. Am I right? So this type of suppliers are known as unsecured. Who are secured suppliers? You go to bank and you need to take a loan. The bank he will say, we are good friend of you, but he will say, my friend, bring your deed. And then you give the deed, you need to pledge. This concept is known as pledging. And they will stamp something there in the deed under lien. There's a word here.
Yeah, and lien is very important word. Bank guarantees everything.
Yeah.
They are mentioning that lien.
Yeah. When you see any legal title deeds or anything with this word, that means that deed has been already mortgaged. You understand me?
Okay.
So you cannot re-mortgage this type of deeds. So now this type of loans and suppliers are known as secured suppliers. So unsecured suppliers, secured suppliers and shareholders. These are the three groups. So when you liquidate your company, whom you should pay first?
Secured.
Secured suppliers. Then
Employees first, right? Employees benefits anything?
yeah, after settling the employees benefits. Now that's another point to talk about. Now when I'm talking about these three groups, suppliers and the shareholders. Within this, first you settle secured suppliers, then unsecured suppliers, then at the end, ultimately, at the very bottom only you shall settle the shareholders. Anything left over, you give it to them. Clear? So, separate legal personality. If a sole trader's business, if that business have done any legal mistake, and because of that, the affected party go to courts, and the court will file a case against whom? Let's say I am Muhammad Ashik Khan. I have a hopper's shop, Ashik Khan Hopper's Corner, and you came to eat in my hopper's shop, and there is something spoiled hopper I gave you. You go to court. You file a case. Then the police station or the courts will call me, not Ashik Khan Hopper's Corner. That's when it's a sole trade arrangement, or even that is applicable for partnership. But if I open Ashik Khan Hopper's Private Limited, then the same problem happen. You go to courts, they will not call Muhammad Ashik Khan. They will come and look for some directors, employees and people who are managing in an official, what do you call that, office bearers. As a shareholder, and very well safe. That's what you call separate legal personality. You can do business with the company, you can file case with the company, you can do anything with the company as same like a living nature. Yeah.
What is the meaning of WLM?
With limited liability.
It's
Same thing. In Qatar they use that term.
WLM.
Dal mim mim.
Yeah, that
In
means.
Qatar, they give for even the sole private companies now. We will look how it can.
Yeah,
I didn't understand.
that means
Single shareholder possible, no problem. In Sri Lanka also
establishment, they mention
no, see,
establishment.
establishment is something else. Muassasa.
Yeah,
Muassasa is not a limited liability company.
it's a single owner company.
Single owner business. You don't call it
A
company.
company, yeah, sorry.
Single owner business, but single owner company also possible.
They will call it Sharika.
Yeah, Sharika with dal mim mim.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Yeah.
full name for that, but that is with limited liability. Muassasa is an establishment which is similar to a sole trader business. Clear? So that is the separate legal personality. Can own property. You can purchase land from Ashik Khan Hopper's Corners Private Limited. You can sign deed. You can sign agreement. Everything can be done on that company name. But in a sole trader, no, you can't do that.
The guy who.
On the owner's name only everything. Ownership is legally separate from control. So that is separately divided. The shareholder typically must sit outside and the managers typically must sit inside. But in a few group of companies, the shareholder becomes the manager also. That's an overlapping scenario. But that doesn't mean that it should be the case. And then no restrictions on size. Some companies can have millions of shareholders, starting with minimum of 1. And you can go up to 50, then that is private limited company. If it is exceeding 50, and you can even go up to sky is the limit. Now, in a Sri Lankan point of view, Halis, Unilever. Now, here in Doha, many large organizations, like for example, Milaha, Qatar Milaha is a Qatar Navigation before, Qatar Airways, Commercial Bank of Qatar, Doha Bank, Qatar Electricity and Water Company, Ooredoo. These all are public PSQ. If you probably you have seen this public shareholding company.
Listed company.
Yeah, the way they have writing is PSQ. Public shareholding Qatari company.
They write QSC.
QSC, Qatari shareholding company. Shareholding entity. Different the way they write, that in short, public listed companies. Understand me? So, flexibility. See, they brings together capital and enterprise. They also bring the skill. Now, they bring funds as well as skills. Some shareholders will have, managerial skills, engineering skills, financial accounting skills, and so on. So, these are the advantages of limited companies. Disadvantages. Compliance costs. And these people are coming in. Auditors. When you have a limited liability company, there are financial statements, must mandatorily audited. That's when we have business. Understand me? So if it's a sole trader or partnership business, auditing is not compulsory. But for limited liability company, statutory accounts must be audited and signed by qualified chartered accountants. Here, shareholders have little practical power. As I told you, they are sitting outside. Directors are inside. Now, your money, they are managing. Even to get dividends, you need to wait their permission through a board meeting. So these are some of the disadvantages. This is one example, example about a limited liability company. Sinopec. Actually, in Doha also they have Sino Hydro. Have you? I don't know.
Yes, we have contract with them.
Yeah, Sino Hydro is one connected company with them. See, it's a Chankai. The Chinese company. Sino Hydro also Chinese company. Okay, approximately 117,730 millions of shares in issue.
We have already a case with them. We have a legal case with them.
Yeah, they have a very different organization. Generated net profit 46.47 billion yuan in 2014. So you can understand the size of the company. Public sector comprises all organizations owned and run by the government and local government. Like armed forces, school and universities, here Baladia, this Lakhvia, ISF, Al-Fasa, Kahrama, then also what are all these public, Ashgal, all of them are public sector. So public services, street lighting, fire service, police, government departments and so on. Characteristics of public sector: accountability, ultimately to government. I hope all of you know the meaning of the word accountability, correct? It's in a simple way to say responsibility. So it is to government. Funding. Funding should be by raising taxes, making charges, borrowing. What do you mean by making charges?
Fines or something like
exactly. You drive on the road and then you make a mistake. Policeman catch you and then issue a ticket. And that collection goes to government. That is what you call it, making charges. And borrowing. Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes to any country and then, borrows. So, limited resources. Resource is scarcity. Now, before that, now here, also demand for services. If you go to a government hospital, and I told you about my leg injury, and I had gone to, where is that, Dehiwala, there's one hospital in Kaluboy hospital. I had gone there, they took me there, and then they put me in the waiting line for the surgery. Morning 7 o'clock they admitted me, and they took me into the surgery room at 3 p.m. Around 180 different cases in front of me going to the surgery room. I had to speak in English to get a special way to sneak in. Otherwise, I would have gone even maybe night 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I spoke to the doctor in English, and then I got some special support. So demand was too much. You go to Kacheri and you think that you can easily get the work done as you like. No. It's especially during this Corona period. I hope any one of you would have experienced locally in Sri Lanka, also here in Doha. Getting service is not that easy. And limited resources. Resources are always scarce. It's very limited. You will not get as you want or as you like. What are the advantages of public sector? This is in theory. Please remember. Practically, I don't know whether it is always applicable. Fairness. You think that in theory, theoretically we anticipate that the public sector service entities should be fair enough with everybody. But I don't know whether it is really fair or not. Ensure that everyone has access to services regardless of their ability to pay. Their race, their color, their nationality. That's what you call fairness, but I don't know whether it is. In fact, it is. Filling the gaps left by the private sector. Now, I need to do a surgery for my hand. First, I went to Delman Hospital. Overnight stay, next day morning discharge. They asked me 90,000 rupees. Same thing in government hospital. I did it in government hospital. I'm still thanking for that. 500 rupees only it cost me. That is to that guy who is that called Panasonic, who is I just need to pay 500 to make my thing little supported. Attendant. That's the cost I incurred. Apart from that, they kept me for 4 days. Before surgery 2 days, after surgery 2 days. And then totally surgery is free. But fortunately, the doctor is my father's friend. That's what the specialty is. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the chance. So anyway, this is one expectation. When the private sector is unable to deliver certain services, which the public sector does, especially medicines, some drugs. In the pharmacies, private pharmacies, you may not have, which the government pharmacies in Sri Lanka we have SPC. You know what the full form of SPC?
Sri Lanka Pharmaceutical Company.
State Pharmaceutical
State Pharmaceutical Corporation. So the drug stores available everywhere, Kandy, Colombo, everywhere that they have. Economies of scale. The cost will be cheap because they are buying in a larger quantity. So the cost will become in the cheaper finance because the government will lend them at a very less interest rate. So that is another advantage, and we theoretically believe that is efficient. Do you all know the meaning? Okay. There are three very famous words which all accounting students must know. One is efficiency, another word is effectiveness, and also we have another word here, productivity. Can anyone tell me what is efficiency?
Capable. Efficient is skills.
I think hassle-free is.
So there's a definition.
Quality and the solution.
There's a definition for this by one theorist. How he said goes, efficiency is doing things right. Now, example to say, okay, we need to come from ground floor to the second floor. We have staircase and then we have lift, and we also running out of time. In this situation, for me to reach ground floor to the second floor, the right option must be to use the lift. That is efficient. So this is doing things right. Next is doing right things. Now let's say we are on the second floor. God forbidden, now fire on the building. Okay. Now we said that we should use lift. But now here, if you at the time of fire, if you will use the lift, is it a good advice? At that time, doing right thing, what is suitable for that particular time. I will give you a different example for this. Let's say there are three guys, A, B, and C. These three fellows wanted to have well, water well. They want to dig a well from their own vatta, in their garden. So the first man, very educated, highly educated man, he borrowed one engineer. He hired one engineer, and then these both fellows went to the garden and they used all the techniques, machines and measuring tools and all, and they built other